Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create this design right here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Pride Month and how to cross-niche in a way to make your design stand out a little bit more in today's market. I'm also going to talk about this design and how you can turn this one design into, 10, 20, 30, however many you want designs as well. So if you're interested in that topic, please do stick around. So here we are on Canva's home page, and I am going to be designing for a t-shirt today. So I'm going to start with a blank background. So I'm going to go over to custom size in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I'm going to be selecting 4500 by 5400 pixels. So I do prefer to design for darker backgrounds just because the darker shirt colors do sell the best. So I'm going to go ahead and change my background color here to black. So I'm going to go to the left-hand corner of the page and just select black for my background color. Now, as we are fast approaching June, there are a lot of good niches in June to design for, and I'm going to cover these, in upcoming videos. The first one I want to cover is going to be Pride Month. So June is Pride Month. So right at the beginning of June, boom, you'll start to see those Pride sales start to go up. Now, Pride is a huge niche, and Pride stuff does sell year-round. And so it can be a kind of hard niche to break into because there are so many thousands and thousands of designs, and those designs, go back years and years and years and years and years. So it's hard to just come up with a general Pride design and have it be seen. So my suggestion to you when it comes to making Pride stuff is to try to take something that's, Pride and combine it with something that's a little bit more now or something that's trending now. So for an example, what I'm going to show you today would be taking that boho style that's kind of, common now, that sort of, moon phase theme, and adding that to Pride. And that's a good way to make your Pride design more current versus a generic Pride design that may have sold 10 years ago or something, because again, it is such a large niche that it can be hard to get into, even though there are tons and tons and tons of ways that you can go with Pride. You can pretty much cross niche Pride with just about anything, so be as creative as you want. But we're going to do a really easy one. And so the saying has been around, but we're going to just make it a little bit newer. So the saying is not a phase. And what we're going to do is combine that with the phases of the moon and do it in sort of that boho style. So the first thing I want to do is just go ahead and pick out some moon phases that I want to use. So I'm going to go over to the left-hand side, and I'm going to go to the tab that says Elements. And from here, there's different ways that we can search. So we can do something like boho, moon, and see what comes up. And I can go to graphics. And you will already see right away some of the moon phases here, more moon phases, a heart with moon phases. And you can pick pretty much anything that you like. Here's another one here, here's some more here, here's some curving ones. So there's tons that you can use, and you can be as creative, and you can do this many times too, by the way. So if you like your design and you like the style, you can do it again and again and again with lots of different moon designs and just make tons of versions of it. So again, if you're looking on Amazon, for example, and you're looking at the top sellers on Amazon merch, they aren't just going to make one design per niche. They have lots and lots of slots to fill. You can put up thousands of designs in one day on the top niches. Even on the lower niches, you can put up thousands of designs in one day. So you're going to make multiple versions of the same design or the same general niche so that you have better chances of selling, because if you are 1 in a million, your odds aren't as good as if you are 100 in a million. It's still bad odds, but you get the idea. So you want to be able to make multiple versions, and I'm going to show you that on this video. So I'm going to show you one, and then I'm going to show you other ones that I made that were just very similar variations, just to show you how quick and easy it can be. So again, I can look through and see all sorts of these. I can also go boho, moon, and I can put phases. if I want to be more specific. And it's just going to, again, bring up the different phases, and I can do curved ones or I can do straight ones. I can do ones with little like dots in between. Here's one that has little stars in between. That's kind of cool, and so that might be a good one to do. Here's another one that you probably can't see as well. Make it lighter. And this one also has little stars, but it also has some little dots. So, you know, just different ways that you can go with these. So let's just start generic. I'm just going to start with this one right here. And I'm going to use this as a frame. Okay, so this is just going to be a frame, and I'm just going to call it moon phases, oops, frame. And we're just going to go ahead and download that. So I'm going to go to share. I'm going to go to download. It's a PNG. I need it to be a transparent background, and I'm going to go ahead and download it. And what we're going to do is put sort of a rainbow clipping mask over it. That way we can kind of make it more pridey, right? So to do that, we're just going to go ahead back over to elements. And now what we're going to do is just look for a rainbow. And we could do rainbow flag, you could do rainbow stripe. I mean, you can do whatever kind of you want, depending on how you want it to look. If you want the rainbow to look curved, if you want the stripes to be vertical, horizontal, or anything else. I mean, here's an example of one. This has the different shades of brown in it as well, but let's say I don't really want the brown. Here's another stripe here. This one's easy to use, so I can just adjust it this way. And I can make it as long or as narrow as I need to. So this is a good one if I'm just looking for those stripes. Now I could also do, by the way, rainbow gradient. This is going to leave obviously those lines because it's striped. I could do it in more of a gradient theme too, where it's more blurred. I mean, so if I wanted to do rainbow gradient and go to graphics here, give it a sec. Here I'm going to have different rainbow gradients, so I could do something like this one or like this one if I wanted it to be vertical, and you could see that it's more of a gradual gradient versus stripes. So lots of different ways that you could do this again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this rainbow over my graphic, whatever graphic I happen to choose. And to make sure I have it lined up nicely, I'm going to go up to the top where you got this little checkered board. It says transparency. If I click on that and I bring that transparency down, now I can see through it. And I want to make sure that I have it tightly enough to the top and the bottom that I'm getting all of the colors represented. So I don't want to have too much on the top or bottom to the point where I lose the red or I lose the purple. So I do want those to still be showing up. And then once I get it the way I like it, I can go ahead and get rid of that transparency. And now I'm going to go ahead and download this again. And it is just going to be, I'm going to put rainbow stripe. And then that's a mask. And we're going to go ahead and download this. So we'll hit download. It's a PNG. This does not need to be a transparent background. It can, but it really won't make a difference because it's just going to go inside that frame. Perfect. And so now I can get rid of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Photopea. Now, if you haven't seen my videos before, I use Photopea a lot. It is a free website, super easy to use. You don't have to log in or create an account or anything. Just type photopea.com into your browser. You should get a page that looks like this. And then from here, the center button that says open from computer, if you click on that, it should pull up your downloads. And so the very first thing you're going to do is go ahead and find your frame. So once you have gone to your downloads and selected your moon phases frame, it should pull it up and it will look like this. By the way, I do have a little caveat to make. So if you pick something as a frame and it is a premium image, Canva will not allow you to download that by itself. So in order to download something as a frame, you want it to just be by itself as just the frame. But if Canva does not allow you to do that, but you still want to be able to kind of use it as a frame within a design, the kind of go around would just be to put another element on the page. You can either do it, you know, way away and then just kind of cut it off later. So if I was to put just any element I want down here that I don't need, and then I can just crop it out, Or for this, because it was a frame, I just put a tiny little circle inside the bigger circle. It doesn't matter because, again, it's just a frame. We're going to put a mask over it, so you won't be able to see that. And so there is workarounds for just about everything. Obviously, you should never use any of the graphics by themselves. And so, again, we're not using it by itself. We're going to put a clipping mask in it, and then we're going to bring it back into Canva, and then we're going to use some text to create the full design. But just caveat there. Anyways, this is what your frame should look like. And then from here, you're going to go up to the top left-hand corner where it says File. You'll go 3 spaces down where it says Open in Place. That will pull up your downloads again, and this time you're going to go ahead and select your mask. Now that should pull up a page that looks like this. So your mask should be right over your background. So you can see over here the different layers. Rainbow mask is on the top. The background frame is going to be on the bottom. You want the top one to be the one that's highlighted, and assuming all of these things are correct, you go up to the top where you see layer, click that. Halfway down, you can click on clipping mask, and it is going to put your clipping mask inside the frame just like that. And now it is ready to export. So from here, we'll go over to the left-hand side where it says File. Halfway down, it'll say Export As, PNG, and you can go ahead and click on that. It will pull up a box that looks like this. Here's where you can retitle it if you want to. So if you wanted to put Rainbow Moon Phases, or whatever you want to title it, it should still be a PNG. It should still be 4500 by 5400 pixels. So really nothing should have changed. And you just go ahead and hit Save. Now once that's saved, we don't need Photopea anymore. We can jump right back over to Canva. So I'm back on Canva, and so here was my original moon. I don't really need that anymore because I'm going to add in what I just made. So to do that, what you would do is go over to your left-hand side. Now you're going to go to your Uploads tabs, and you're going to upload the file that you just downloaded from Photopea. So once you have done that, you can just drag your file over onto your page, and so now I've got something that looks like this. So what you see is exactly what we had before, only now we have the rainbow mask in it. And so that's pretty cool. Now, I can do this for a white shirt, in which case I probably don't need to do anything else because this is going to show up really good on a white background. It'll pop really nice, but then I would want to make my text color darker. Or I could keep it for a dark shirt, in which case I might want to put a little like highlight around here, just so that it pops a little bit more. Now there's 2 different ways you can go about doing this. They're both pretty simple. One would be to click on it, go to Edit Photo, go down to your effects where it says Shadows, and here you could do a full outline around it, or you could do a drop shadow around it, depending on what you want. And either one of these would be an easy way to go about, and you can pick a color. So let's just go with white here. I'm going to bring that intensity up so that it's solid. I'm going to get rid of the blur so that it's solid. And then here's where you're going to have to sort of play with your angle and distance. So I want the distance to be pretty close. So it's just a small offset there, something like that. And then you can obviously play with the angle where you want that sort of to hit by just kind of dragging that along. So whatever you think looks best, you can do that way. So something like that. That's one way that you could do it. Another way that you could do it if you wanted to would just be to take the image, hit Control D so you've got a duplicate copy of it. And then, well, it's already got the shadow on there. Take your duplicate copy, go up to Edit Photo again. This time you could go to Duotone if you wanted to. Pick any one of these duotones, it doesn't matter. And you can change both colors to white. And if you change both colors to white, you would have a white version of that. And with this all white version, you could now go ahead and put that behind it and offset it and just push the layers back. And so that's 2 different ways that you could go to get that little shadow there. So both of them are really easy, just so you're aware of the different ways you can go about doing that. So anyways, now I've got my sort of rainbow look. So now I want to add some text. So I'm going to pull up a text box. And I'm going to do this in all caps. I'm going to put not a phase. There it is. And now to keep it really simple, I could just go ahead and do the not a phase over the top, something like that, and have it be more of a banner shirt. And so that is one way that we could go about doing that. And then you can just kind of play with your fonts, depending on if you want it a little bit bolder or a little bit less bold, whether or not you want more spacing in between. So let's say I wanted the letters to be kind of small and I wanted to space them out. I could go up here to where you see spacing, and I could bring that letter spacing out. That way it would go all the way across the top without making it any bigger. So I could do it like that, and that looks kind of cool. I could, of course, make it bold or change the font if I wanted to. So just depending on which way I want to go, I could put the not a phase at the top or the bottom. So it kind of looks cool at the bottom there like that. So any different way that I wanted to go about doing this. So let's go ahead and just, boom, not a phase, not a phase. And that is one version of the shirt that you could put up right there. Now, to create multiple versions, the easiest way to do this would be to go to the top where you see this duplicate page. I can click that duplicate page, and now I can play with it again. So let's say I wanted to put up a version where the font was on the top, and I got a version like that. So now I got this version I can put up, this version I could put up, and I can keep going. Let's say I did want to put it on a white shirt, so I wanted to change the background color to white. Now I do need to make this font a little bit darker. You can pick any color you want that you think might look good. So let's say I wanted to go with the blue right there. Now I've got a version for a white shirt, a version for a dark shirt, a version where the font's on the top and one where it's on the bottom. I can keep going, so lots of different ways I could go with this. I could duplicate page again. Let's say this time I wanted to put maybe not A on top, not A. And then let's say I wanted to pull up another text box and put phase, and maybe I wanted to put this in the middle. So now I could go not a phase and do it this way. So here's another layout I could take on my not a phase, and so I could do it that way, and I could make a light version and a dark version that way. And of course I can always play with these fonts too, but you can start to see how I can get a lot of different cool layouts. Here's another one I could do. I could duplicate page again. This time I could take this, and let's say maybe I wanted to make it vertical, and I think vertical looks kind of cool. I could take this vertical one, put it here. I could maybe shrink these down so that they're on the side here. So I've got my vertical one here, looks nice. Maybe I blow it up so it takes up the whole side of the page. And then my not a phase, maybe I go ahead and make that a more narrow font. And so I can go ahead and do a search for narrow. And depending on how narrow I want to make it, I could do this one. The Palalabus Condensed is my favorite one if I'm looking for a narrow font. And I could do both of those like that. And I could, again, take that spacing and bring it back down to 0 for both of them. Oops, letter spacing down to 0 for both of them. Oops. Shrink that in just to make it easier to work with, and I could make this really big, and so now you can see how I could do something like that. That needs to be a little bigger. So anyways, I'm just playing around here, but you can see how I can start to make a lot of different versions using just all of the same elements and just sort of playing with them and making them slightly different. I mean, I can keep going pretty much, you know, as long as I can keep coming up with new ways to put these things. I can do a ton of different variations. I could do one here where, let's say, not a phase. Let's go ahead and go back to that really narrow one. Bring in the letter spacing, 0. Bring that all the way out. Sort of send to the back. Oops. And I could do something like that where I've got the moon phases on top. And if I was going to do that, I might even edit the photo and edit the shadows here so that on this one, the shadow would be black, so that now it pops over the white text. And so I've got tons of different versions. And so from that one thing that we made, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 different versions now. And of course, every white one I could make black, and every black one I could make white. And so there's so many different ways that you could go about doing this, and you could use different fonts. And so the top sellers are going to take their one design and they're going to turn that one design into 50 designs, and then they're going to put up 50 designs. So, you know, for every niche you can think of, the top sellers are going to have 50, 100 different designs just in that one niche. And so if you're limited, you're going to go ahead and have to kind of pick your best. Now, you can still make lots of versions like I did and sort of look at all of them and decide which one looks the best if you're limited in space. If you're not limited in space, go ahead and put up a ton. So that's the way that you're going to make the most sales. And so I hope that this was informative for you, not just how to create the design, but sort of what to think about when you're creating a design, and when you're creating a design for a very saturated niche, how you can go ahead and do some cross-niching to try to make it a little bit more current. If you have any questions about this, drop it in the comments section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. If you have any video requests, you can put that in the comment section below as well. And you can always check out my channel too. I've got over 200 videos, so there's a good chance that if you have a topic you want covered, I may already have a video on it. And so you can always go and check that out as well. I hope you guys are doing really well with your sales. We will be going over upcoming Q3 niches, I think, next week. So stay tuned for that. And I do hope to see you guys again later. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.